Hello YouTube, back with the next My Little Pony review, and today we're reviewing the baby ponies from the G1 TV show, the first TV show, not the one with My Little Pony Tales, for example. That was the one afterwards. And it features the ponies that you'd kind of expect. They're more like our pony versions of babies that we have in general. I mean, they're going to cry a lot, they're going to want a lot, they're going to need a lot of attention in general, but they're also shown to be a little bit more than that. Because some of them are unicorns, and they will have magical abilities that are either not fully developed or which may be either down to their limitations as, you know, in terms of their age, but also, or in terms of the amount of practice they need. Because it would seem that at least partially it may be down to a little bit of both. Because some of the babies in there relate to their parents in that they're identical sort of twins, if you will, much younger. Ribbon and Baby Ribbon, for example. Ribbon's the adult. Baby Ribbon is obviously the sibling. The daughter, as it turns out, she cannot, as I recall, was not able to fully disappear. She would try it and get about halfway through it, or something like that. It does eventually get it right in the end. If I'm remembering correctly, she gets it right in the end of the episode that features this situation. But most of them are kind of what you expect. You've also got the first tooth ponies, which as the name suggests, they've got one tooth. I think they're indicating their age. They're a little bit older than the younger ponies that have no teeth at all. They're able to speak a little more clearly, and as it turned out, they would seem to be a little bit smarter too, because they're able to at least attempt to execute a plan to kind of get back at the younger ponies when they're invited, and the first tooth ponies are not. They're invited to the party that would turn out to be sort of a trap, if you will, because the Duchess was not really kind of holding them hostage and ended up wanting them for herself as slaves, if you will. That shows you how dark this show is really going. Overall, I mean, they're not that bad. I can kind of tolerate them a little bit more than the real thing. Well, it's because they're, and I guess ponies, you can argue that's probably the main reason why, because they're ponies versus humans. They're a little slightly detached from how we view it in real life, but also because they're different. They're not just, it's not like these are just straight up humans. They won't have magical abilities. Even then, even if they had magical abilities, they would still be somewhat detached and somewhat more enjoyable than what we have here. And what we have here, real life happens. Things do not go as well as planned. And I think that's also partly why cartoons can have anything happen anytime, have it end in 5 seconds or whatever is needed. So it allows it to be a slight deviation, a little bit of an escape from real life, especially since and you kind of need it, especially in real life. You have to deal with babies in general for like hours and hours and hours and hours at a time. You get very little sleep. There's a lot of money you have to spend getting everything ready. Of course, weeks in pregnancy and all that. So it's a mess, and that's partly why I don't want to have anything to do with it as a whole. But at least with the ponies, you can you only have to put up with them for like 10 minutes apiece, and they just have different personalities. So even though they are acting as you'd expect them to act in terms of human babies, they're not entirely like that. You get a little bit more out of them, because of course, as I said, some of them being unicorns, some of them being, and of course, as unicorns, they're not overpowered. They have limitations. Again, down to practice and or their age. So if they get old enough, they will finally have the ability to use their real magic, or they can maybe speed it up by actually practicing it for themselves, as it would turn out. So overall, they're not bad. I can tolerate them over the real thing. Of course, some of you are probably parents out there watching. Well, you probably enjoy it. That's kudos to you, but it's not my thing. I'd much rather watch a cartoon version. So long as it involves My Little Pony, I think that's probably the only exception. I don't think I'd watch it under any other condition, unless they're drastically different from real life. But yeah, that's my review on the baby ponies from the G1 My Little Pony TV show. Thanks for watching.